Hi everybody, welcome to Unapologetic Radio, where I share my thoughts and opinions on things that is happening. So please remember that. If you do not like my show, please move on. If you like my show, hit the like button and subscribe so that you will receive the notifications of any new shows. If you like my show and would like to support, my Cash App is in the description. So let me explain to you what genocide means. The deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group. Let me explain to you what white genocide means. The term white genocide is a white supremacist conspiracy theory that claims there is a deliberate plot to eliminate white people through various means, including immigration, miscongenation, which it actually means interracial marriage or procreation, and violence. Here's a breakdown of the key aspects. Core beliefs. They believe that white people are under attack and face extent of being replaced or becoming extinct. Well, this is true on both sides and can stand for any race. And then if that's the case, every international relationship is committing genocide. So why are we saving everyone? Perceived threats. Immigration. They see non-white immigration as a deliberate effort to dilute the white population. This opposes interracial relationships and marriages, viewing them as a threat to racial purity. Violence and discrimination. They often point to isolated incidents of violence or discrimination against white people as evidence of a large genocidal plot. I first want to know how do white people get discriminated against? But anyway, culture shifts. Some also perceive cultural changes like the rise of multiculturalism or political correctness as an effort to undermine white identity and dominate. Historical roots. The idea of white genocide is not new, but its modern form is often traced back to post-war European neo-Nazi circles and white supremacist groups. David Lane, a neo-Nazi, popularized the term and conspiracy theory in his White Genocide Manifesto. So we know they have their blueprint. Relationship to other conspiracy theories. The Great Replacement, the white genocide theory is close linked to the Great Replacement theory, which originated in France and argues that white Europeans are being replaced by non-white immigrants. It is important to note the white genocide theory is widely considered a conspiracy theory based on false and extravagant claims. There is no evidence of this systematic effort to eliminate white people. Demographics change are driven by various factors, including birth rates, immigration patterns, and social trends, not by a coordinated plot. The theory is often used to promote racist agendas and incite violence against non-white individuals or groups. In conclusion, the white genocide theory is a dangerous and unfounded belief used to justify white supremacy and racial anomalies. It should be understood as a conspiracy theory with no basis in reality. So the South African whiteys need to cut it out. White represents about 7% of South Africa and still control and own almost 70% of the private land. White South Africans only represent 2% of homicides in South Africa. This is all Elon Musk doing. He grew up in South Africa during the apartheid era in South Africa. He looks like he was always the old man singled out, kind of like Pee Wee Herman. On February 7, 2025, Trump signed an executive order calling for the United States to resettle Afrikaner refugees as victims of unjust racial discrimination. That should be the same for all the other races. Every race should be able to be included or claim that they're victims of unjust racial discrimination. Anyway, 3 months later, the group of 60 arrived. Now, did those 60 surrender all their property, land, and everything else that they took from South Africa since they were treated so poorly? On May 21st, 2025, Trump ambushed the president president of South Africa by unveiling a presentation of the genocide in South Africa on white farmers. But it has been said by other news outlets and South Africa's president himself, Cyrus Ramaphosa, that the photos are fake, staged, or the photos he showed was from for a different reason and is not what Trump claims to be going on in that photo. But let's go back a little. In 1948, a group of white national parties took over, which they stood on the policy of Africana nationalism and white supremacy. This started the whites taking over, and they called it apartheid. Black people were forced into Bantustans, and all leaders were forced into jail. All done by the white Africans. I bet you don't tell you that. 1994, Nelson Mandela demolished the apartheid. 1990, 42 years later, all the leaders was released, and that's when the white population started to decrease. So much so that they lost all political position and representation within the African government. So let me get this right. The white people couldn't do anything with the strong black leaders, so they had to arrest them in order to get their way. But once they started being released, all of a sudden, they get up and move away. You know, American white people should take that same advice. So let me show you how petty white people are. They pack up and they move to a town called Orion, located along the Orange River in what is called the Karoo region of Northern Cape Province. It was founded by Afrikaners. Orion is a white separatist town in South Africa, which they established in 1991, 1 year after the African leaders started to be released. See, the American whites need to take heed to this. America is so big and there's so much land that's undiscovered. Find some of it and stay there, white people. Dear white people, if you have such a problem with living with other kinds, there is so much land out there. Take your money and find some land and start your own town. That's what the Afrikaners did, and it worked perfectly. But anyway, let me get back to it. Now, why can't everybody do the same thing and find an area to build up for themselves and just leave the other races alone? I'm going to calm down, but that's what I really just wanted to say calmly. I want to say it again, though. Why can't white people do the same thing? Find an area away from everyone else and build it up for themselves and leave all the other races alone. There would be no need for the KKK, right? Through all this, white people still keep their dominant in key sectors, including property, finance, and farming. They claim that white people are being oppressed, and they should. We didn't uproot them like they did black people. We let them keep the one thing that they knew and kept black Africans out of: Coronation Park. So why are they complaining? Ain't that what they would tell us? Black people live like that all the time and still do, at the discrimination of white people, so they can get over it. I wonder if that was where Elon Musk grew up. If Elon Musk wants to give back to South Africa so bad, then why don't he redo Coronation Park for his family and old friends and leave the United States alone? White South Africans are no different than any other white person. They are territorial and aggressive, kind of like savages. At Coronation Park, you have to have permission to come into the area from a camp leader. That's pretty territorial for a public park that don't belong to them. I always said white people are not independent thinkers, and they only are as smart as their rules and the books that they read. Hit that like button and subscribe. Now, since Trump has brought some of these white South Afrikaners to the USA, which I don't know why, I heard it was about 60 of them. I hope they left that land they stole. Elon Musk is gone. He is no longer meddling in people's information. Now, can someone let me know in the comments if Elon actually sold our information to the Russians or not? Allegedly, that's what was being said. He is officially out of the White House, though. What a lot of people didn't know, and I think if they did things for Elon would have went differently, was the president is allowed to have one professional outside counsel, but only for a short period of time. Unfortunately, we got Elon. Elon's job was never permanent, but it is amazing to me how a consultant was able to have that kind of access to dismantle a government over resentment for your upbringing is ridiculous. He offered resignations to about 2 million government officials. Within 30 days, he had full access to all government agencies, Departments of Defense, NASA, IRS, and the Department of Education. Before Elon time was up, he made sure to get a hold of a whole town. Do you guys know about that? Elon owns a whole town on U.S. soil. My question, why he didn't do it in Africa, South Africa, where he's from? Why is Elon so obsessed with being an American? He calls it Starbase. And guess where it's located? Near the Mexican border. This is a prime example of what I mean by if the whites is the ones that have the problem with others existing races, then why don't they take their money, find some undeveloped land, and set up their perfect little world and be unbothered? No one will bother them. I'm sure of that. Hit that like button and subscribe, y'all. Now, while doing my research, I came across another all-white town in South Africa named Kleinfontein. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Excuse me. I mean, after all these years, who knew? It's in Pretoria, also located in South Africa, which yet again, they are all white. And newsflash, guys, there is multiple all white towns in South Africa, but they don't want us to know that. Just like Coronation Park, it is gated and you have to go through a sign in and everything, almost give blood, just to get through it. See, this is a learned behavior from slavery. White people feel empowered by control. Let me ask you, if white people are so good naturally and by nature, why do they feel the need to hide and be protected at all times? Kleinfontein, and I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, was established in 1992, yet again around apartheid, 2 years after the African leaders started being released. Kleinfontein feels that it is impossible for multicultures to live under one government because out of 144 laws, all of them refer to race. Now, I am against white people taking up real estate in any part of Africa, but I have to say I do agree with the way Kleinfontein operate. Maybe that's the problem. Us as people has to agree to disagree and stay away from one another. Dear white people, that means mind your business, just like other races. Act like they don't know you. Act like you don't know them. I am so curious to see how far white people would get on their own. Small fact, in South Africa, they used a pencil test to determine if you were white or black. If they put a pencil in your hair and it fell out, you were white. If it stayed, then you was black. That is the, how can I say it? That is the mentality, the smarts of them. My final thought is, and this is only my thoughts, and it's not debatable, whites do not belong in Africa, period. I think all of Africa should be the one place in the world without a single white person. The great part about being white is based on the color of your skin. You will always have options. Black people don't. So give Africa back to the one and only true owners, Africans, quote unquote Egyptians. Trump wants to clarify the race. Give Egyptians back their names. Add it to all the race sections on government forms. Don't half-ass do it since you want to open up JFK death files. Really? Dear white people, instead of taking over, go somewhere else. Do you know how much land out there is that is undiscovered and it's just waiting for you and your families to go and build? Talk to Trump about that. He's into real estate. You can create your own world and leave everybody else alone. Now I see why you started in the cave. Well, thank you guys for watching and for subscribing and for your support. Again, this video, it's not personal. We're just stating facts of which that you like to sweep under the rug. That's all. It's just a discussion. Again, disrespect will not be tolerated on my channel. If you like my channel, hit the like button and subscribe. And share this video. Tell all your family, friends, and coworkers all about Unapologetic Radio. Until next time, be blessed.